Hello, this is Roland. Today I want to make a short video, but one that's very, very important. Because I'm going to say something that I've said before many times, but it bears repeating. And if you could actually hear what I'm saying and take it to heart, your whole life could change for the better. And here's what I want to say. And I'll never forget. One time I was listening to the radio, I think, and I heard that after her long and illustrious career, Ann Landers, a great newspaper advice giver, she had an advice column that ran in hundreds of newspapers on a daily basis around the country for years. Ann Landers was asked this question after all of these years of advising people. If there was one piece of advice that you could give people, just one, if you could only give one piece of advice, what would you say? And of course, I was all ears. I leaned forward in my chair and listened intently because I knew it was going to be good. And she said, if I could give people only one piece of advice, I would tell them to be more forgiving. To be more forgiving. And I immediately knew that that was 100% right. And if somebody asked me, after 26 years on the radio, and after all the books that you've written, and all the people that you've talked to, if you could just give one piece of advice, then I would say the same thing, but I would say it a little differently. I would say, let go of resentment. See, Ann Landers' advice is very good. Be more forgiving. But some people don't know how to forgive. Some people don't want to, and they never will want to. And so their life will continue to deteriorate. But some people actually would, or at some point they will be ready to forgive. But they need to know how to forgive. And so I'm going to say it again. Let go of resentment. It's resentment that blocks love. See, here's the other thing I have to say. You can't love and hate at the same, not true love. You can't truly love someone and resent them at the same time. It's impossible because resentment blocks love. Resentment takes you away from awareness and a bright nature, and from love. And it puts you into a dark imaginings and thoughts and ruminations and subject to wrong influences, actually, resentment. It seems like such a small thing, resentment. And so I want to clear up a couple of wrong ideas that people have. So you heard the main idea. Did you hear what I said? Listen again, because you might miss it. Listen. Let go of resentment. Okay? Watch for resentment. You'll see that you resent someone. When you see it, let it go. It often begins when we're little children, way back to age 4, even 3 or 2. But often around age 4 or 5, someone is cruel. Often it's a parent. Cruel. Okay. And I don't need to go into all the varieties of cruelty, some obvious, some subtle. But there are just so many. Cruel. Okay. Mean. Pressuring. And often the little child is full of rage, hate, rage, because of the relentlessness of the attack upon them. It's as if someone were trying to destroy them, accusing them, and belittling them, and screaming at them, and yelling at them, and rejecting them. And see, just there's no end to the cruelty. Making a big deal over some little thing. Some little thing, child spills a little bit of milk and gets screamed at and told that she's no good and she's bad, and you know, that kind of stuff. Well, that's where the resentment often starts. And then it can be the resentment of father. Father who wasn't there for you. Maybe he was violent, dictatorial, angry all the time. Or maybe he was just silent. He just wasn't there. Or maybe he wasn't even there anymore. There'd been a divorce or he ran off. You can hate someone who's not even there. Hate them for their absence. Or maybe he was there, but he was just weak. He let mother have her way with you. He let everything have its way with you. The schools, the peer group, the bullies. He was weak. People pleaser, see. Or maybe he was a decent guy. He was a decent guy. Yet you may have still resented him because he was weak. You needed him to be stronger than the world. Instead, he was kind of weak. Okay? But whatever, that's how it often starts. And then, of course, then you're placed in school. So you can resent your parent for putting you there. See, for abandoning you to preschool, to daycare, to a cruel babysitter. How many of you had a cruel babysitter? How many of you had a babysitter that was mean to you when your parents' back was turned? See? Maybe your parents were decent. They just didn't know. They were busy. They went to work. The babysitter was cruel. Babysitter could have been some member of your family or someone else that they hired, paid a couple of bucks, a couple of dollars. You have no idea. Well, yes, you do. If it happened to you, you do have an idea. And then you tried to tell your parents and they wouldn't believe you. So you could resent not only the babysitter, but resent them. And then you go to school and then there's bullies and academic pressure and peer pressure and comparison pressure. The whole list of it. So before long, you can be resentful toward a lot of people. Then you turn it on yourself. See, resent yourself. And angry. Or perhaps full of rage from what was done to you. So, that's how it starts. And it continues as you go through life. Then you look for love. See, the resentment makes you feel empty. Because resentment cuts you off from love. Remember, I said that you can't truly love and hate, or love and resent at the same time. You can't. You can't truly love. Whatever love is not an emotion. Love is something different. But you can't love and hate at the same time. So, when you resented it cut you off from your ground of good. And when you were cut off from your ground of good, you felt empty. And you felt unloved. And then you went out into the world looking for love. And what did you find? For the most part, you found use and abuse. And you felt empty, so you went out into the world looking for fulfillment. So maybe you turned to food. Food comforted you. Food gave you love and comforted you, but then the food betrayed you, didn't it? You looked to other people. Maybe they were decent enough, but, well, some of them were just just like you. They too were looking for love. They too had someone who had been cruel to them. They too were maybe messed up inside, and so on. Then others who could help, they were hard-hearted and arbitrary, and they didn't have understanding. Okay. I'll never forget, there was a man once said, those who would like to help can't. And those who could help, oh, I forget how he said it. He said, those who want to help, those who understand can't help. And those that can help don't understand. That's what he said. So you went to the various experts and authorities and administrators and all the different people who claim to know. And you found that they didn't understand. See? And they didn't have love. They had what seemed to be love. See, if you accepted it, you're almost better off if you can see that they don't have love and then just go your own way. But of course you couldn't as a little child. Plus you thought they were going to do something for you, and it turned out they did something to you, but you thought that was love. At least they paid attention to you, so it seemed like love, but it wasn't love. So then you resented them too. So here's the secret. Let go of resentment. And now I want to clear up a couple of wrong ideas, urban myths about love, about forgiveness. Okay, number one, forgiveness does not mean that you have to like a person or that you have to become friends with them and have things to do with them and visit them often and talk to them and make small, it doesn't mean any of that. You can forgive someone and then never have anything to do with them again. Okay? You can even forgive someone who's gone. They're just, who knows where they're at. They're gone somewhere in the world, or perhaps they've passed away. You can forgive them in your heart. But let's say it was someone who did you wrong. Okay? You can forgive them and then never have anything to do with them. See, if you go to someone and you say, when I was a kid, you did this, and you spell it out. You did this to me, and you did that to me, and you did this to me, and you did that to me, and I hated you. Okay, but I don't hate you anymore. I just want you to know what you did, see what you did, and admit that it's wrong, and be sorry, and apologize. Okay, and mean it. And so at that point, they're going to, undoubtedly, the most likely thing is they'll deny that they did anything. They'll accuse you. See that? Well, at that point, then you can shake the dust from your sandals and walk away with your head held high and never have anything to do with them again. See? If you want to, you could say, you know my number when you're ready to be sorry, and mean it. And give me a call, and then walk away. Never have anything to do with them again. On the other hand, and this doesn't happen very often, but it occasionally happens where you confront someone and say, this is what you did to me, and it was rotten, and I hated you for it, but I don't hate you anymore. But I just want you to know what you did and be sorry and apologize. And sometimes they'll say, yeah, you're right. I did that to you. I'm sorry. I know it's wrong. And maybe they'll shed a tear, and they mean it. It's not pretend. Well, all right, then, if they have a change of heart. They have a change of heart about what they did. Instead of defending it, they admit it and are sorry. Well, okay, then you can have something to do with them again if you want to, but you don't have to. Okay? You can, but you don't have to. See? Now, the other thing I want to say about forgiveness, and this helps people to forgive. Okay? First of all, remember what I said forgiveness was. It's letting go of resentment. So this helps people to let go of the resentment, especially toward parents and people from their childhood who did things to them. What you have to see now. Okay, first of all, look at yourself. Okay? Do you do things that you don't want to do? Are you sometimes out of control? If you have kids, do you yell at your kids the way your parent yelled at you, for example? Undoubtedly you do. Okay. But do you want to? No. No, you don't. But you do. See? So, it was the same with them. See, the only difference is that you can listen to me, and you can hear what I say, and you can see something wrong with what you're doing, and have a change of heart about it. See? And then change for the better. But they had that. They apparently didn't have that opportunity. And the other thing you need to see is that so they were out of control. See, they didn't do it deliberately. See, that's an idea too that sometimes will stick in people's craw. They think that the other person deliberately did something to them. Well, maybe they didn't. They were out of control. And the other thing is that wrong gets inside of people. Even Paul said. He said it, the good that I want to do, I don't do, and the bad that I do, I don't want to do, and yet I do it. That sort of thing. And he said it's sin that, then he saw that since I don't really want to do it, it's sin that made a hole in me. Well, see, the wrong spirit, the spirit of pride, the spirit of seduction, the spirit of cruelty, of rage, gets into people. And undoubtedly, if it was your parent, for example, who did you wrong, it got into them when they were little kids and they hated their parents. See, that's how it's passed from generation to generation. It's the worm that dieth not. See? In the parent, wants you to hate the parent, because hate is a forbidden act. See, people are created in the image and likeness of God, and we're not supposed to hate them. So when you hate your parent, see, which as a little kid, that was probably the only, after their relentless cruelty, that was all that was, you knew, was to hate. See? Or it may have been underneath. You may not have known you were hating, but you resented. But that's what it wanted. It wanted you to resent your parent. Because A, that's a forbidden thing to do, and B, that's how it gets inside of you. It gets inside of you that way. Okay? Because your defenses are down, your shields are down. Do you remember Star Trek on television with Kirk? And they had several generations of it. They were all good, actually. But do you remember that the Starship Enterprise had shields? They would put up their shields and then it would block attack. Well, when you are close to your inner ground of good, you're actually close to God at that point. And you don't hate, you don't resent. Okay? Then you have shields that are up. But when you resent, when you hate, your shields are down. You're separated from the good. You remember how I said that? Remember how I said you can't love and hate at the same time? You can't love and resent at the same time because you're separated from your inner ground of good and your shields are down. And then the wrong in them can penetrate. So it doesn't matter whether the wrong is in the parent, whether it's in a bully, or whether it's in somewhat a mean brother or cruel sister or a teacher that's cruel or whoever it is. Something in them wants you to resent and hate, and then it can get inside. And when it gets in you, okay, then there it is. And then years later, you find yourself yelling and screaming at your own kids. See? Well, it's actually it in you that's compelling you. But you think that it's you, but it's not you. It's the spirit of pride. The spirit that had gotten into whoever did it to you, and now it now it came into you from them. You see? Now, the other way it can get in is through seduction. See? You resent your parent, resent someone. You're full of resentment. And then it talks to you. It comforts you. It's supportive and comforting. And it insinuates itself in that way. And then you may be accepted. There's many variations of it. I'm not going to go into all of them. Just know that something can get into you that then eggs you on to do wrong and to do foolish things, and also comforts you and supports you, your pride, supports your ego. And what it does is it supports your ego in your alienation from, see, and even resentment toward Father, toward God, toward people. See, so it comes to your, and it's a spirit of pride, and then it insinuates itself into you, and it gains control over your emotions and your thoughts. You think it's your thinking. Okay? So the basic idea is that now that's how it gets in, through resentment. So that's why you don't want to resent. But if you let go of resentment, see, and then that resentment, it keeps you wrong, it keeps you separated from the good, and it keeps you guilty. So then it can browbeat you. Then it plays a good guy, bad guy routine. Then it browbeats you and says you're no good, God hates you, there's no hope for you, you're rotten, blah, 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 see? So what you need to do is to become is to see others without resenting them. If they're wrong, see that they're wrong. But don't resent them. Okay? See the wrong, but don't resent them. And be objective to your own thoughts, to all the thoughts that flit through your mind and deceive you and mislead you and distract you. See? And pull you away from standing back in God's light and seeing what has gone wrong with you, seeing it in God's light and seeing that it's not you and you don't want to be that way anymore, and then inclining toward the light and clinging to the light. See, you've always clung to pride. See, the pride became your defense. Hardness, cynicism, contempt, see, became your defense. It came with that, brought it to you, and you accepted it because you were resentful. But now you have to see that there's a better way, and that is letting go of the resentment. Letting it go. And then there is a power there. See, which you don't know now. You don't know of it. You may have a hard time even imagining it because you've always thought that being hard and mean and angry, that it gave you strength. It gave you the illusion of being right when you were still wrong. And it seemed like you were strong because you were angry. But in the long run, all you do is burn yourself out. But there's a much more powerful force that is willed into place when you find it. And it's from God, by grace. See, that not only is it protection, but you become grounded in what is true and what is right, and you become solid that way. It's a marvelous thing, really. Like 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, so you know that's true, and you don't doubt it. You just know that it's true, and no matter what anybody says, or accuses you of, or makes up stories, or says things, or whatever they do, it's going to go in one ear and out the other because you know that 1 + 1 = 2, and they're not going to convince you that 1 + 1 = 3. Okay? Well, that's what you need. You need that kind of solidity, that you know that there is truth, and you know that God is there. See, these are all very important things. They're very basic, but they're very important. And then you'll see the liar, the spirit of hate, the spirit of pride. It's always that lies to you about all of these things. So I want to keep it very simple. Look, I was going to keep it short and simple. I will make it short and simple right now. Let go of resentment. Okay? That's what Ann Lander said. She said, be more forgiving. And I say, let go of resentment. My name is Roland.